I grew up here in Delaware, and as my wife Annie and I are raising our 3 young children, we're worried about the future. As we look to Washington, we see a place that is broken down, that's mired in partisan squabbling. And for many of us who worked, who volunteered, who voted for change in 2008, we have not yet gotten the change that we hoped and worked for. As I've gone up and down this state over the last 6 months and listened to hundreds of Delawareans, I've met folks who've lost their jobs, who've lost their homes, or who are at fear of losing both. They're angry, they're anxious, and they want to know what we're going to do to change Washington. Well, as someone who spent 8 years working with one of Delaware's most innovative manufacturing companies, and someone who for the last 6 years has served you as county executive and made hard choices, cut government spending, trimmed our budgets, balanced 6 budgets, restored and maintained our transparency, our ethics, and defended our AAA bond rating, I think I have the values, the skills, and the experience to go make Washington work for Delaware's working families. I am grateful for this chance to be with you this evening, and as I have the last 6 months, and as I will until November 2nd, I'm eager to hear from you and to answer your questions, because I think this election deeply matters. America's place in the world is at risk. The safety and security of our children, how robust our economy is going to be, how strong our education system is going to be, and what kind of future we will leave to our children and grandchildren, I believe is truly at risk in the outcome of this year's election. Delaware's next senator should be somebody who is prepared, who has concrete ideas, and who is ready, willing, and able to fight to get our economy back on track, to restore America's middle class, to revitalize manufacturing, to tackle federal spending and the debt, and who has good, clear, and concrete ideas for how to get all of those things done for you. I take very seriously the idea that this is a job interview, and I hope you will take seriously looking at the 2 candidates before you, at our ideas and values, at our experience and our proposals. And I look forward to a constructive debate that focuses on our policy ideas and in our differences, and I hope in the end you will conclude that I have the ability to be your next senator and to put us on a path towards getting America back on track. I'd be grateful for your support.
Good evening. My name is Christine O'Donnell. I'm a candidate in the U.S. Senate special election for the seat once held by Joe Biden. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I want to especially thank the Jewish Community Relations Center and all of you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to you. It's no secret that there's been a rather unflattering portrait of me painted these days. And as we approach the general election over this next month and a half, it's my goal for you to get to know who I am and why I'm running in this race and why I'm asking you for your vote on November 2nd. I'm running because I'm concerned about the direction of our country. Leaders on both sides of the aisle in Washington no longer view our founding principles of limited government, low taxation, our constitutional principles on which this country was founded as indispensable. I want to go down to Washington and be your voice. The issues that we face right now are very complicated, and it'll be difficult for you to truly know everything that I represent in 60-second sound bites. So over the next couple weeks, we're going to be unfolding my platform so that you will know exactly how I'm proposing to get the country back on track. I believe that what's coming from Washington, more of the same, is unsustainable, as many of you do. Our country is going broke. It doesn't take an expert to figure out that we can't continue to spend our way to recovery nor tax our way to prosperity. The common sense men and women here in this room know that that is not sustainable. So while you may not agree with me on all of the issues, what I want to do is bring a common sense approach, a constitutional approach to Washington, D.C. to get our country back on track. For one, what I'm proposing is that to get our country back on track and our economy going, that we use private sector approach to the economic solutions. I think that the best thing the government can do is to get out of the way of the entrepreneur, get out of the way of the small business owner, and let them create jobs based on the private sector. I'm proposing a temporary 2-year capital gains tax because when businesses have the money they need to reinvest into their business, they grow. When they grow, they need to hire people to sustain that growth. Thus, they create jobs that are dependent on a thriving private sector economy and not government bailouts, not government spending, i.e. your tax dollars. I believe that the politicians who vote to spend money that we cannot afford are just as guilty as the politicians who vote to raise the taxes to pay for that spending. It's time to get common sense ideas, free market ideas, back into Washington, D.C. I've worked in D.C. for about 12 years. I've been in politics for 20 years. I have enough experience to know how Washington works, but I have enough real-life experience to know how it should work. Thank you for your support.